Good afternoon, everybody.
Recording in progress.
Welcome. Welcome to our workshop on proactive wellness, day two and final session, part two. We have started this yesterday, morning session and evening session, and then we did complete this morning. Yesterday, we kind of introduced what I mean by proactive wellness, why it is important, and also had people really understand what are the forms I sent about the assessment, and also I sent for the uh, for the workbook that they could work through. And in the forms, we covered as apart from vitals, histories, medications, alerts, we also covered BMI and skin fold thickness and total fat content rather extensively. And then I also covered how to use the workbook to develop a radar for your wellness journey, a compass that you could gather all the facts about yourself as exist now, and also derive what are the problems you have, what are the things you can really develop or absorb some you know some of the insights that you may get from this workshop or from asking me questions and then finding out which direction you want to go. Most of them are about knowledge of the science and the spirituality. Most of them about commonsensical things. Most of them are non-invasive, rather understanding coming through you through your lifestyles. So it's about lifestyles. It's about what is happening in modern times to us human beings and how we are unknowingly or unconsciously or innocently allowing these things to gather together. Hi, Peter. Welcome. So it's a question of understanding. Like, for example, human relations, right? Me and Peter, we met on this app, Noom Vibe, and we became fast friends. And we kind of listen and support each other. And that required nothing but human beings, right? Coming together and really developing friendship, camaraderie, and love and affection for each other just because we are human beings. Okay. And then in the process, we may have some things that we kind of understand each other. For me, my main thing is not about my medical knowledge, not about my scientific mind, not about my information knowledge about the ancients or their utterances, but then it is my understanding of the importance of this wisdom and living them and coming with the experiential knowledge of me. As it, for example, sleep, we're going to talk about how I was before I understood, I have this understanding about sleep, its need, and how we are really not paying attention to something very vital like food and water, right? Every human being has to, and then we don't understand the sleep is a detoxifier. So it's important for us to have that elimination function from the brain, from the body. Okay. So your detoxification happens in your mind, in your liver, in your kidney, things like that. Okay. So what we started yesterday was more like what is proactive wellness? What are the four pillars of proactive wellness that we promote? And then we think that's a commonsensical, like a based on the Sanskrit thing of ahara, vihara, achara, vichara. Ahara is food, vihara is activity, and vihara is like they used to go out of the house and just take a walk around the house and come back. That is vihara they used to call. That is actually activity. And then ashara is the wisdom, the spiritual wisdom that was incorporated into our daily lifestyle so that people don't have to remember. There were dishes for each festival according to the season. There were activities, rituals that promote that kind of lessons from that festival, things like that. Okay. So in here, what we do is, what do we know about the research about the food? What do we know research about lack of sleep, or what do we know? These things like that, right? Then we come with the conclusions. Okay, diabetics eat this food, and heart patient is that kind of thing. You see, so we may take a ADA diet or a Mediterranean diet or Ayurvedic diet, depending upon what we know about the diet and what we know about us and how we can revive us through that. Okay, that's what was happening. Okay, so look for my understanding and my experiential knowledge, okay, into that. Okay, once you have that, then you will really know what's going on, and then you can relate to it, and then listen, question it, doubt it, understand it, and try to implement it in your life. And with that kind of implementation, you will have a real good idea about what you are doing, and then how you can improve your lifestyle. Okay, so I look at eating as a lifestyle. I look at having exercise as a lifestyle. I look at it sleep as a lifestyle. Like that, having a calm mind is a tool that people are unfortunately not using it. They are so overwhelmed by their electrical thought, and that's why you're always worried about things, and past and present, never enjoying this moment, and you dream of some things. When they don't come, then you are weighed down by that, rather than seeing what is in front of you, which is really helpful to you. Okay, so uh, yesterday, as I said, we not only introduce you to this movement I created for the wellness. As a doctor who worked for 40 some years, I've seen so much of illness. And I thought they were presenting to our clinic, to the hospitals, much later than what they should have been. Okay, they should have been at the whispers level, when your body and mind is telling you something is not right, something is not balanced, something out of whack. And then body intelligence tells you, my back is bad, my knee is bad, whatever, right? Or I'm vomiting, or I'm coughing, whatever symptoms. So they come with the symptoms, and only they present themselves, because they can't do anything else. They have to come and get the medical help. So most of the medical practice has been reactive to symptoms. But I want to catch these people much before that, and also want to avoid any reasons why they are developing this. They are eating bad food, they are not exercising, they are not sleeping, any number of things, right? So, or they may be taking toxins into their body and things like that. Okay? So, I want to go to the roots of their illnesses, and then really help them to really nip it in the bud when they start with the whispers, from the whispers to the symptoms to the disease. But now, with all the money that we are spending, it has become such a big deal about these chronic diseases. They are diseases of civilization: diabetes, COPD from smoking, cancer from toxins, from all the gene modulation and all that. And so many things that are happening due to our civilization, so-called advancement of the culture. But then, lo and behold, when you look at it, we didn't really develop that much. We still act like from the limbic system, from reactivity of our emotions. And then they take over us. The hormones come, and then we don't have any control of that, right? So instead of that, human beings, more than animals, they can have memory, they can have imagination, and those are past and the future. And then you are not supposed to go there and live that experience. You are supposed to use the insight of the past, or your whatever you are forecasting, or you're projecting into the future or planning into the future, should come in the present. So life is, after all, is here and now. I am here with you guys, and this is the moment for me. Right? Okay. I'm not deciding something in the past. Right now, how can I communicate what is proactive wellness is, why it is a um, important thing. The best insurance is conscious living. Be conscious, be aware of what is happening, what you are doing, so I kind of explain to you why the uh, four pains that you can avoid. You can have money loss recent because you're not sick and going to the hospital spending money on the operations, medications and all that. Okay. And you can save on the time. You don't have to put leave for your hospital and all that. You can save on your energy. So how much energy goes into this? And you can save on the suffering that you may have to go through when you allow your illnesses to pass. It's not that you have complete proof of every illness, every problem that you have. No, a better idea. Okay, suppose you have smallpox, and that was something happened before for everybody. But in my childhood, they gave us the vaccination, and I escaped the smallpox. Just like that, the disease of civilization, the eating disorders, the vital energy lack because you are not getting eating good, all that has a multiple volumes of knowledge. But you go by what is taste for you, what is social for you, what is enjoyable for you, and all that, and you eat without any limit, without paying attention to your digestion process, and eating all the time. Obesity, big time problem now, right? So like that, there is a wacky way of going about civilization, and our civilization produces an enormous number of chronic diseases and increasing them. And people are getting not vital, but really exhausted, or really not getting the benefit of being a human being. Human being has this intelligence that you can turn inward and realize who you are and stay in that what the ancient described, what's called Sat Chit Anand, existential consciousness that itself is blissful because your mind is quiet. You are beyond that, right? So you have a body, you have a mind, but they are tools. But you are the conscious being. You are this life force that is kind of giving you this body and mind and all that. So we talked about how to be proactive about our wellness in all these realms, and I also went about describing to you the form I gave you that you could use, and you can fill it out, and out of that some insights come, and then you develop a plan according to what I was talking about. So you have problem with the sleep, you can gather some things and then observe some things that I'm going to tell you, and then study and learn about it, and then implement it in your life, and make a 30-day plan, and then come and follow me in 2 3 weeks and ask me questions about it and tell me how it is going. This workshop, we're going to make it a uh, continuous flow of information to you, by being if you want to follow up with me, by all means, okay, you can follow up with me. Then I will come every fourth weekend of few months, and I want to make this proactive wellness a movement in the society, starting with myself, to my family, to my friends, to my followers, to my students, to my associates, to my friends, everybody, right? And then they go and they say, okay, let's wise up. Let's not live vicariously or unconsciously or getting under the influence of the people who are doing this propaganda about having crutches, having all this, right? So just wise up, just open your eyes and then see what's going on. Okay, don't rely only on the external forces of government, insurance companies, or pharmaceuticals, any number of them. Okay, people on the wellness, they do come and talk about one aspect of it. But I'm saying it's not enough. If you just say, "Oh, eat well," that's not enough. How about your mind? Are you keeping it healthy and then not burning out? Or are you keeping it mechanical? So I go pretty deep because our human tribe in the ancient times, let it be India, let it be China, let it be Japan, let it be South America, let it be American Indians here in USA, let it be Australian Aborigines, let it be some other tribes in England. So many places you can see that people were not mechanical like the modern medicine has become. They were holistic. They were taking care of their body and mind and really combining everything, body, mind, heart, and spirit, right? So I'm like a scientifically produced internal medicine doctor. And I'm also took interest in the spirituality of ancient India. And that was my biggest achievement. I have an MD from New York University, Coney Island Hospital. I have a geriatric experience in Chicago's Oak Forest Hospital. And I also did a master's in biomedical informatics. All these are nothing compared to what I'm learning, what I've learned and I'm learning now. Even now, I'm a student of the ancient wisdom, way above, way above about the human being, about the interior of the human. And the ancients had such a fantastic insight into our operation inside. By the way, their whole culture was like a simple outward living. Don't make too much about the food. Don't make too much about the shelter. Don't make too much about the clothes. They're all necessary, that's fine. But beyond that, you got to have some meaning, a substance into your life. And they said, Atmano Mokshardam Jagat Hitaisha. That is my motto. So they showed us by turning inward as a human being with your own intelligence, intellect, not reading anybody, not reading anybody, but just by turning yourself, the less you read, the better it is. So you won't have the other people's knowledge, but you can investigate yourself. Then, when you turn inward with that inward mind, you can touch a place where it is all very serene, quiet, and silence, and really peace is that you touch upon. Happiness you touch on, joy you touch on. They call that Satchit Anand, existential consciousness reality that is blissful. That is what we are. That is the essence of we have, right? So neuroscience says different words about that. You can use all the scientific methods, but basically they go beyond all that. They go into consciousness, not just your brain is conscious. No, the whole thing is consciousness. In the consciousness, we happen to have physical bodies and mental minds and all that. Okay. So, Atmano Moksha means you turn inward and realize that ambient self that you have that is beyond thinking and feeling, right? Thoughtless awareness that is choicelessly available for everybody. But if you bring in your little mind, little thoughtful movement, then you lose that inner essence of it, right? So understand that, then you will be able to really live in that serene, still silence. Okay, that will be there. And even if you touch it twice a day, that's good. So what they said, Atmano Mokshartha. To realize that inner self is the ultimate goal of a human life. Animals may not have it, but then human beings are blessed with that. Are you getting into that, or do you experience that? Do you live in that silence? They did, mentioned it. And then they said that is a liberation from your mind, from your material things and all that. Because you have attained that liberation, you are blissful. Now, what do you do? Then you turn to the world and work for the welfare. So, my job is to turn inward and realize that is the first part. Atmano mokshata. Don't talk all the things. This is a silent thing that you only discover for yourself. Okay? And don't go by saying, "Oh, I am so knowledgeable, I can do this." No, that then you are still stuck in the mind and ego. Don't stuck in the persona, ego, personality, but there is a presence within us. Be in that presence. And then once you realize that, once you have discovered your own diamond like, you say, I don't want to put like that, but I think you don't understand. And then you put like that. Okay. Then you are fine. And you don't say, oh, a big deal or nothing. But you enjoy that inner silent, loving nature, and which is very good for you. Body can have problems, but you can take care of it, but then you can observe it. Mind can have problems. Mind suffering is mind's, body suffering is body. In that way, you go beyond suffering, understanding, not actually go overcoming. You go through the suffering, but you don't have the reaction of that. Right? So once you realize that is the first part, the second part is Jagat Hitaicha. Jagat means world. Hitaicha means welfare. You work from there onwards, not for your own upliftment, not for your own accumulations, not for your own greediness and all that, but because you are beyond that. They don't mean anything because once you touch the inner beautiful diamond we have, we all have, all of us have. So then you say, okay, I'm going to work for the welfare of the world in whichever way I can. My way of welfare for the world is, as a physician, you saw so much illness, and as you realize you don't have to go through all this, or at least some variety of it. You don't have to at least go through extreme suffering just because you are not thinking other way. Say, look at my way of old age is where they are growing gracefully, they are taking care of themselves, whatever they can do, but they are not on so many chemicals, so much of unconscious things, and later they are kind of living well with other people harmoniously and in peace and security and all that. And they're enjoying relationships, they're enjoying contributing to the life, whatever they can do. And they are vital because they are being natural in their diet, in their activity, in their sleep, and in their mind activity, right? And then I see that that's possible. Suppose somebody has diabetes, somebody has arthritis, somebody has hypertension. Those three conditions usually a lot of people have, maybe heart disease, maybe thyroid problem, something like that. So many of the elderly in America, they work very hard when they are young, and then they don't really take care of themselves that much. That is a lack of self-care we identify. And then when they are little middle age and they begin to notice that they're having these diseases, and then they start medications. Instead of working on the root causes of the illnesses, we kind of just give something just to damp it down. And that becomes a problem down the line because medication beats medication, more medication, interaction, side effects, and all that. So people are living mechanically, without vital energy, without the enthusiasm for life, without really enjoying the life. They're not living long for sure. They're suffering. At the same time, they're succumbing to their illnesses, and they don't have the pep, they don't have the vitality to participate in life. That is our current state of affairs. You can see that that is happening, right? So what we want to do is we want to understand these and then really be there for people to educate them or empower them to discover these illnesses when they are starting. Whispers, right? So what did I say yesterday? Okay, listen to the unseen, whatever it's coming, then act before they become irreversible. That's what I started the talk with. Okay, so you are aware, you can feel it, and then you act before that whole thing becomes irreversible. You can do it with the diabetes, you can do it with hypertension, you can do it with the depression, anxiety, any number of physical illness, any number of mental illnesses. Okay, by the way, The limitation of the Western culture is they're stuck in thought. They think, I think, therefore I am. No, you are thinking. That means you are separate from the thinking. Thinking can be observed, thinking can be fixed, thinking can be used properly. I use thought, but I try to be in the awareness, which I'm aware of it. And in the morning when I get up in awareness, I don't let the thoughts intrude. And then I kind of be attentive all day so the thoughts won't form their own network. That is what's happening to modern people. Many of you, if you really look at it, neurotic. That means thinking, thinking, thinking all the time. And that you think that's normal. You cannot stop your thoughts and then you say, oh, I don't know how to do it. I don't know where they're coming from. So you got to go back to being aware and just allow the thought to come and do the things that are external to you. And then stop the thinking from proliferating, from forming a network. You can do that. That's my experience. That's what I'm saying. This is important for the sleep also. So, proactive wellness is a compassionate giving from me for the people who are suffering in modern age, either because they don't have the proper food, proper, activities and all that. Also, they don't have an idea about how is they working all the time without really taking care of myself. And then when I'm really sick, all the money that I made is being sent there. It's kind of doesn't make sense if you look at it that way. So let's get better. Let's live happily. That's what I'm saying. So you can do that with many of them, our lifestyles, our even the systems. It could be health system as a whole. It could be administration as a whole. It could be a department head or family head or even you yourself. How consciously are you living? So this is the best insurance policy in this modern time. Conscious living, meaning what? When you get up in the morning, you are conscious. When you're eating something, you're conscious what you're eating, how you're eating, all that. If you are doing some things, you're conscious about doing them properly. Okay? And if you are using your mind, consciously attentive using. So real solution is conscious living. That is the end of proactive wellness, being conscious each moment, each act, each thing that we do. Okay? So that's how we came to this. We explained what is the, you know, proactive wellness, why it is needed, what are the consequences if you don't do it, what are the problems of implementing this. That also I talked about this morning. Okay. Then we went into 3 different kind of diets. ADA diet for the diabetes, and uh, Mediterranean diet for the heart and brain, and Ayurvedic diets for the wholesome living, right? So all this helped people if you select the diets that you want. I just gave 3 diets, but there are so many other diets too. But you have to understand the principles of good diet. And then we went into, you should be moving. Body move the body and keep the mind silent. That's my mantra, right? All the time I tell you keep your body moving and devise ways wherever you can move, you can make your body working. And that kind of thing is really important for people, right? So once you have that, moving the body in so many ways, functional fitness, devise ways to move from morning till evening, devise ways where you catch yourself settling down in the chair for a long time, then get up and move. So that kind of thing will be very helpful to you. And then you can enjoy that too. So you have eaten well and you are making yourself move all the time. Now that other 2 pillars we're going to talk about, and first one is about uh, sleep, and the second one is about we're going to share our screen here. for those people who are on the uh, this one, right? Okay, and now I'm going to share the screen. Okay, okay. Now we come to rest and sleep. Why rest matters? Because we're tired and we want to take it easy, and then we want to make it easy on the body and the mind, right? So sleep is really not a luxury. Some people I love, they think it's a waste of time to sleep that long. You know, so that's pure ignorance. So sleep is not a luxury; it's a biological necessity. It is as essential as food and water. It's as simple as that. Okay. So during rest, your body performs miraculous repair work that simply can't happen while you are awake. There is cellular repair, there is memory consolidation, there is hormone balance. Cellular repair, for example, deep sleep that triggers growth hormone release, repairing tissues and strengthening your immune system. I won't be brief on this, but if you are really interested in the mechanism, then I can spend time with you personally, tell you about. But then basically, you have more blood supply reaching the periphery of this, and then more oxidation goes in, more cellular metabolism, and more excretion of the toxins and all that happen, right? So cellular repair definitely happens. Your liver is restored, your kidney is restored, all the toxins are going out and all that, right? And then your brain function, your memory, that gets consolidated. See, your brain process your day's experiences, moving important information into long-term memory storage. That's why you can enhance this by doing what I prescribe to people, what's called review of reactions. See, your sleep thing starts from the morning when you get up and then doing stuff. Do one thing at a time, and also don't carry any remnants after the activity. So you take an activity, you take a file, you completely do that file, and then get rid of it from your mind. So that kind of, but if you are not attentive, if you are reacting emotionally, and then you are putting all those things aside, when you are trying to go to sleep at night, brain tries to put order by getting rid of those negative or positive reactions, responses, and all that. If you accumulate a lot of them during the day because you're reacting all the time, your reactions accumulate. That's why I invite people to really go through all the reactions that they're having and then really see what is trivial. Somebody said something and we are feeling bad about it. That's it. Something. You can't help anything. He will say whatever he has to say. But that's not present. That's not here now. So dump it. And if you have something important, don't keep it in the mind, but write it down. Put it on some device or some paper or whatever, and then dump it. The idea is you are completely getting rid of all the reactions that happen as they happen and they are gone. They are not in the present. They don't need in the future. Trivial, get them out. What they need in the future, career, loved ones, important things like. So you promise your wife that you will take her to something. You want to remember, honor that, and you promise your boss that I will complete this project on such a time. Those kind of things you don't want to lose them. And also, Einstein said, "Why do you have to remember telephone number when it is documented on a book?" Like that, nowadays we have tremendous tools. Okay, so you don't have to carry anything. That's one of my secrets. Is I empty completely because I know what is important is already documented. So I deliberately empty my mind. So my formula is awareness in the morning, awareness of thoughtless state, and continuing as long as possible, and don't open the devices right away. So leaving in attention all day is important for a good sleep. The more attentive you are, don't bring all your scholarly intellectual capacities and then I can remain. That is all training. But then, how do you keep your mind and sleep very good is by emptying it as it is accumulating. But generally, what is happening is people use their mind as a dustbin. Put everything in there, everything without ever attempting to empty it. You got to empty your trash. I don't even allow the trash to accumulate by being attentive to movement to movement awareness, and consciously use the thought and end the thought. Okay, so that's very important. So memory consolidation happens. If you don't have junk, then it's much better. You will be in the morning highest energy and you can focus on lots of things. And the third thing is this hormonal balance. When you sleep, it regulates hunger hormones, stress hormones, and hormones that control your mood and energy. So you have cellular repair, you have memory consolidation, you have hormone balance. Okay, there's so much process in that, but I don't want to go into that. It will take forever then. See, if you deprive your sleep chronically, what happens is you will gain weight and you will have compromised your immunity. You will increase your stress and also persistent fatigue. I feel awful if I don't sleep properly during the night, right? So I know how it feels. That fatigue, that kind of slowness, that kind of compromisation. I mean, all those things you can know. Okay. So don't do that. And you can drink all the caffeine you want. But this persistent fatigue, all those things, they don't go away unless you allow natural sleeping pattern to take over. Now, most adults thrive on 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. This isn't just time in bed, but it is the quality of no non-REM sleep. It's a restorative deep sleep that leaves you feeling refreshed and energized. If you don't feel refreshed and energized, forget it. You are not, like. So it happened to me. There was a time when I had to take night calls because I was also working as a hospitalist in the hospital. So every so often the night call used to come. And I stayed on and I kind of did everything. But then the the sleep was very hard at night time because the patients needed you and the nurse has no alternative to wake you up. And when they wake up, I had tough time going back. That was my experience, and the next day I was wiped out. I didn't like the feeling. I continued to do all that. It's like this: we go at 7 o'clock in the morning, we work into 7, and the night call is 7 to next morning 7. Again, the 7 o'clock we have to do the next day because I can take off like that. So by the time we go home the next day 7 o'clock, we are done. So I wanted to work on this. I kind of wanted to understand it. So I went to the ancient practices where really it helped me to understand, how to do that. Right? When I did that, it really helped me to understand I can do this if only I look at everything that is disturbing my sleep. So I stopped drinking any coffee or tea or any of those beverages that have caffeine in it. Okay, so that helped a lot. And as we went in, more people were disturbing us. All those things came up. But then when I figured out what I'm putting in, what I'm allowing my thoughts, that's very important to understand and control it. Right. So as I did that, that made a difference. Okay. So stopped all the stimulants and then stopped all the multitasking and only one task at a time. And then at the end of the day, I wiped out the mind before I go to sleep. And then I began to sleep very well. Even now it is 3 to 4 hours. If I sleep, I'm good to go. 70 years of age. At this age, I'm sleeping without any sleep. I never took sleeping pill in my life anyway. And I don't use any, caffeine or too much. Maybe 1 cup once a day, that's fine. But it's also in the morning, That's also decaf. So if you can do that, that will be very good for you. Okay. So have that. Once you understand that, then it will be very easy for you to do that. Okay. So how you get awakened in the morning, how you keep your thoughts forming their own network of thoughts, and how you really register yourself to be in that. Okay. So that really makes a difference for you. Okay. Uh, Before you sleep, how you unwind is the most important. That's what I'm going to address here. And you will be able to understand that. Okay. So once you got that, how I'm going to sleep, what is going to happen, all that happens much easier. Unwind the body and unwind the mind. Okay. These two are important, right? If you can do that, then you will be able to do that. Okay. So how do you unwind your body? How do you make yourself so much better, so that you are really relaxing all the muscles? For that, we do what's called Shavasana, dead man's pose. And you can do this dead man's pose if you want. You can do it if you sitting down. Ideally, you lie down on the floor and you let your back of the head touch the floor, and both shoulders on the back touch the floor, and elbows or the forearms, they touch the floor. And then there is um, there's something like buttocks and back of the knees, and also the heels touch the floor. And then you spread the hands such a way that the hands also touch the floor on the back of the forearms, back of the hands will touch that, and lay there like that, and then start listening to a tape that recorded by you or somebody telling you, first to contract each muscle group. Like I say, contract your toes and contract your ankles too, and then relax the toes and ankles. So they say, contract your toes, relax your toes as you breathe out. You do that like that, from the toes to the ankles to the calf muscles to the knees to the thighs to the pelvic area and to the lower abdomen, upper abdomen, chest and shoulders, forearms, arms, forearms, hands, and then come back to the neck, and neck to the head, and to the jaw, to the lips, to the nose, to the eyes, and all. Like that. You go slowly on the command of whatever command you got, right? And then you'll be able to do that. Okay. So once you do that, then you'll be able to really understand, okay, I'm relaxed the whole body physically. Then what's called yoga nidra, essentially review of reactions. I told you, essentially really not reacting to the bundle of thoughts going in you, relaxing your whole mental mechanism, emotional center. Once you do that, as you do that every day, it incrementally helps you to get the mastery of this. So now, after several years, I am doing this. This happens within few minutes. First of all, you stay in that moment to moment awareness. Every time, every moment you think and you dump all that. That helps a lot. Okay. Um, so hopefully that is helpful to you. Okay. Okay. Let me see how this is working or not working. I think I have a problem with this presentation. Let me go to the original. So anybody who has been practicing this Shavasana and Yoga Nidra, you can come and tell me how your experience had been, how you were able to do that. Okay. So that any questions, any doubts, anything I can tell you. But basically, this is possible. Like me, you don't have to any stimulants from outside. That's a conscious choice you can make, or limit it. Don't take so much of coffee and all that. The stimulants that keep you in the caffeine, in the Coca-Cola, or other energy drinks, any number of them people are consuming unconsciously without appreciating what is the benefit or what is the disadvantage of taking these energy drinks and how they're going to affect you. Okay, once you understand that, then you'll be able to really go out of it. Okay, so do that, and then you will be sleeping much better. You know, it's a question of avoiding the things that are not making you sleep well, including the persistent thought, substances, lack of water, and lack of deep breathing. All these play a role in not having a good sleep. Okay, but if you can address that, you can keep your mind in the attention all day, and then do some uh, pre-sleep activities where you are going to the same place every day, and you're going to use that place only to sleep. And if you are doing that, that also helps a lot. Darken the room. Don't have stimulating TV, or don't have all the devices with you. All those things will help. And then after you get up, don't indulge in thought activities right away. Keep quiet. Be in the present. Understand what's going on around you. Be in that awareness, thoughtless state. And then when you are ready, when you are established in your presence, go and do that. Okay, then you can get up and do your stuff. You can open your devices, you can do your duty and all. But while you are doing all day activities, be attentive to whatever you're. Then you won't accumulate so much of junk that the brain needs to put in order to have a good sleep. So you help yourself in the night time. I do a lot of stuff, but I get rid of that stuff right away. Okay, so you can follow. Anybody can do what I'm doing. So there will be states when some suddenly life comes and knocks, and you have a family emergency, illness, or whatever. Deal with that, and but then after it's done, you got to able to let it go. This non-clinging to things is a yogic thing that I learned. They don't hold on to anything unless it is in the present moment, here and now. Okay, that kind of thing is very, very important. Okay, so once you understand that, it will be so much easier for you to do. Okay, so any questions on sleep now? We should be having some questions. Otherwise, either you know everything, or you don't care about this and you don't have anything to contribute, or don't want to, something like that. So I want you to try to learn whatever my experience was, and then get the benefit of it. It's not about me. It's about how is your quality of sleep. How do you sleep? You know, do you sleep at all, or do you need help with the sleeping medications? How is alcohol playing a role in you? All these are conscious decisions. That's why our proactive wellness encourages conscious living as your best insurance policy. Wake up, identify the habits that you cultivated, wake up and say, "Oh, these are the things I'm doing," without knowing. See, a patient comes to me who has been on sleeping pill for years. I can take him off that. That's the reality. But I can cut down the medication a little bit, and hopefully in the future, maybe I can take him off. But right away, I will tell him all this about sleep and make him understand that he needs to work in a focused way during the day. And before the sleep, unwind both the body and also. See, it used to be no TV, nothing. People used to sit on the balcony and then chat a little bit, and then relax and unwind their body slowly, unwind their mind, and they were able to sleep very well after that. But now we have all this stimulation from outside. So watch that. Be conscious about the choices that you are making. Don't watch very exciting, stimulating TV before sleep. Watch something that relaxes you. Watch something that puts your body and mind at rest. Conscious choice, right? Again, conscious living. That's what I'm trying to do. And then once you sleep, you will discover how much better you are feeling health wise, how much energy you have developed, how much you really re-energized everything, right? So once you do that, you will be happy that you are sleeping well and you are able to do stuff and you are getting less ill over the time. Why do I don't see any doctor, anybody for illnesses? Because I don't have them. 70-year-old had diseases of diabetes before. I don't take any medications. I just manage everything with the diet and exercise, and that's possible. Okay, and also I know how to do some yogic asanas for insulin stimulation. It may not happen to for everybody, but it does help me not to take medication, not to take insulin, and I kind of do a very conscious food choices. That was there. Okay, and then 2014 was the last time I have seen a doctor, and that was when I had the stroke. But after I came out with the stroke, and I don't even take an aspirin, I don't even take Plavix or anything like that. They told me that I have to be on that every day. If I take off the Plavix, one day I'm going to die. No, that's not hogwash for me. So I didn't have to, because when you do the yoga asanas, yoga stretches, your blood flow is pretty good. So you will keep your blood flowing, so you don't need a blood thinner. But if you are allowing the blood flow to stall and then chance of clotting, then you need this antiplatelet, anti-clotting agents and all. Okay, but they could be pretty serious, uh, like you can say more like they're danger for you. They can bleed, they can do all sort of things. So understand these kind of things are very important to remember. And then most of the time people are scared, but doctors are telling me if I don't do what they tell me, then I'll be have problems, okay? That kind of thing. So once you understand, then you will be able to do them better. Okay, so understanding your condition, understanding the knowledge behind, understanding the experiential knowledge, all these are important, right? Once you have that, then you'll be able to do that. Okay, so remember that. Okay, like this morning we talked about nutrition, we talked about various diets. Make conscious choices. If you eat something very heavy or late in the night, you cannot sleep well. That's why I like the culture here in America. Many people eat by 7 o'clock and then they sleep after that. That's a good practice. Early eating is very good for the sleep also. And also, what do you eat? How light you eat, that's important too. Okay. So if you can do that, that will be very good. Okay. If you have all that in there, the fruit choices, the light food, the light way you eat and early you eat, all that matters. And if you come to the activity, you can have some simple yoga postures that are conducive for, like a bird pose I teach, where you bend forward at the lower lumbar spine, get both hands to the ankles and hold them and keep the head down, or you can do head asana, Sirsasana we call it. You can do that too. Then you'll be able to do that. Okay, so what you eat, you know what you eat and how you really uh, do some stuff. Okay, that will be very good. Okay, now anybody has any questions on sleep before I move on to uh, Okay. Now go to the calmness in mind. Do we do anything in a daily life? And question yourself. But there are calmness, it doesn't require long meditation retreats. No, that's the spirituality and all of this better. But you can also be awareness, which is itself meditative. That's also that. But there are some micro practices anybody can seamlessly move into their daily life, busy cycles, creating it creates islands of peace in your uh, job and responsibilities. One is 1 minute pause, which I told about. Between tasks, take 1 full minute to simply breathe and reset. So this prevents stress accumulation and maintains clarity throughout your day. Usually we go from one to another, one to another, one to another, continuously. Don't do that. Create your own 1 minute pauses. That's one. And then you can use gratitude to reflect on whatever you are doing, just to take a pause. So notice three things you appreciate right now. Right now. And then that gratitude instantly shifts your brain from stress mode to contentment. From the lack of, I don't have this, I should get this, I should compete for this, I should work for this, to santosha. Santosha means contentment. In the Yama Niyamas, there are 10 principles, right? One of them is this contentment. That was the key for ancients being so calm and quiet, because they are not allowed to, not really allowed, they are not really propaganda like you have to do this, you have to do that, otherwise you are not accomplished. That's not there. Whatever you are, be content with it. Whatever you have, be content with it. Anything more from what you have is considered greed. It's not about only accumulation of things and all that, but if you are not content with what you have and you want more, that itself is great. Krishnamurti said this one time: if you ask for anything more, then you are greedy. That knocked me out when I first heard. But that's true. So this Satchitananda is such that it's so fulfilling continuously, so you don't have to strive for anything. Not that inertia. You do your activities, your duties skillfully. Okay? Yogashu karmaju kausalam. Whatever you do with the highest skill without expecting any reward. Okay? Bhagavad Gita, karma yoga, right? So gratitude is such that it kind of shifts your brain from stress all the way to contentment and opens your heart to joy. Joy is not pleasure. Joy is not happiness. Joy is a state of being content with yourself and be happy about it. And then body scan awareness, which I told you about. You can do quickly scan from head to toe, noticing areas of tension and consciously softening them. You can do this in a major way for the sleep, but then occasionally do this kind of awareness grounds you in the present moment body awareness. So I told you three things: 1 minute pause, gratitude reflection, and body scan awareness. See, the magic is in the consistency, not the duration. If you do it every day, then you get to build on it. The problem is people do once in a while. No, it's not even 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever. Do that consistently. That is where the magic is, not in the duration, but in the consistency. See, these brief practices, 1 minute pause, gratitude reflection, body scan awareness, they compound over time, creating lasting changes in your base level of calm and resilience. Okay, So that's what you want to understand about this. Okay. See, how did the ancient approach to inner peace? I'm going to say briefly, but there's a lot to learn from them in this regard. Okay, and they enjoyed that blissful nature quite frequently and all the time too. There is this chanting sounds. It could be Om, it could be mantra, it could be so many things. Om, for example, is a secret sound that creates a powerful vibrations. Om. It has three letters, A, U, Ma. As you take the deep breath in, as you let out Om, first 50% should be A, U. Abdominal wall goes up to 50%. Then the next 50% is only one letter, Ma. So as you utter A, U out, abdominal wall shrinks towards the spine, 50%. And the next 50% is the sound of Ma. That's the secret of doing Om chanting properly. If you do the Om chanting, try it, experiment it. You will see your energy picking up. And of course, pranayama practices. So these breathing practices act as bridge between the body and mind. See, if you have a controlled breathing, that directly influences your mental and emotional states because both come the same, what they call Shakti, the power. So if the thoughts are rapid, too many, then stop and take deep breaths, then the rapidity of the thought goes down. The number of thoughts go down. The speed also goes down. Okay? So just by chanting, just by doing deep breaths, you can really have inner peace. More than mindfulness, more than meditation. Meditation is like a focus on one word for more than 120 seconds or 150 seconds and staying there with one thought. Say the sequence of they say, first of all, bring all your thoughts together. That's called dharana, concentration. And then slow the thinking by the deep breathing and slow it to the extent of only one thought at a time, positive or negative, only one thought. And holding thought to that one thought for more than 150 seconds is called dhyana. That is the meditativeness, holding down to only one thought. But then, not even holding that thought, letting it go and slipping into the samadhi. That is what yoga asks you to do, stillness of thought. And then you will be in touch with your real inner self, which is self-luminous and comes out. But there are traditions like Advaita Vedanta, they talk about you can just inquire about what's happening within you. Who is thinking? Where is the thinking come from? Who am I? That's the question. That is the self-inquiry. And you just here, you don't hold on to thought and nothing. You just ask each thought, where is this thought coming from? What is the origin of this thought? And as you answer that, and then as you really identify all that, you will see your inner self, self-luminous, blazes forth, and at that time, all thoughts kind of stops. So the profound question, who am I? It cuts through the mental identification and reveals your true nature beyond thought, emotions, and circumstances. That true nature is the one that they're aiming in the spirituality. But these are time tested. Asking this who am I question is a time tested one. And there's a lot in that practice. Okay. So first deal with, do you have a mind that is centered or that is going all over? Do you have a mind that is centered but going on one after thought, and can you stay with one thought? If you have really with one thought, can you step beyond it into the silence, into the samadhi, where there is no thoughts at all? That is a difficult thing for Prabhupada. All you have to do is observe your thoughts. And if they are negative or positive, ignore them. So it's like that is the best way to really have that peace. Okay. So, but these are time-tested practices. They recognize the true peace that is coming not from the changing external circumstances, but from recognize the calm awareness that is your essential nature. And when you rest in this awareness, stress naturally dissolves. That's what happens to me. I would tell people I live stress-free life because I'm not in the reactions. You can come and insult me, but I will immediately not react. Take a pause, take a deep breath, and then don't accept your insult. So where is there to reaction? You understand? But I can say maybe what he said is true. Maybe I should look at it. Then I'll be able to go into that. Okay. There are so many modern approaches for this calm. Okay. I do actually tell my patients and recommend them this as the initial practices. Like, for example, somebody is injured, somebody is not able to walk after the surgery of the knee, right? And I don't allow them to walk on the foot right away. I would ask them to use the cane or crutches, whatever, so that weight is not there till he is healed. These modern apps and devices that I use, because I'm also an informatician, so I know high technology and the use for my patients. That's important for me. So I use them as tools, but also tell them not to really, you know, get into that. So they're like mindfulness meditation, simple awareness of the present moment without judgment. That's what I'm saying. Observe the thought. Start with just 5 minutes of observing your breath, your thoughts, and your breath may be rapid, slow it down. Shallow, deepen it. And just see as it is. Don't say it has to be like this. Look at your breath, how it is. Is it shallow or is it rapid? That kind of. Then you can correct that, right? So you can start with 5 minutes of observing your breath, your thoughts, and your sensations as they naturally arise and pass. That is mindfulness meditation, where you are aware of the present moment, what's happening, all these things. Then you can use the breathing techniques, the conscious deep breaths. They can shift your nervous system from stress to calm in under a minute. Why? Because the reactivity and all the fear, anxiety comes from the sympathetic overtone. The fight or flight syndrome that is activated quite too often, right? You don't need that, but you need to recruit your own inner antidote for that, which is deep breathing, stimulating parasympathetic nervous system, which is a rest and digest system. So in the morning routine, what I invite my people who have come there, take deep breaths so often so that you can activate the vagus nerve or the parasympathetic nervous system, and that is very, very relaxing for you. So you go to the office and somebody says something very hurtful or insulting, whatever, and you immediately notice you are not reacting as you used to before because your vagus nerve is activated. Then you take a break, you take a breath, and you involve your prefrontal cortex, higher intellectual thing, right? And then you will be really acting like a real human being with intelligence, not just reacting like a rat or like a animal all the time. The reptile brain, that's why they call it the reptile brain, that is not dominant. Even though it is there, that's not dominant. Okay. So some of the breathing techniques also, try like 4-7-8, for example. Inhale for 4, hold for 7. That is most people don't do. Some people say inhale for 7 and exhale for 8. exhale is always higher than the inhale. But then here they are the Rechaka, Poraka, and Kumbhaka. These are the three things. One is inhalation, one is holding, one is exhaling. That Kumbhaka is something people don't practice. Do that. Next time, every 1 hour you take a break, take a deep breath like this. Hold it. Then take it. You can do a box of 4 corners, right? Take a deep breath, hold it, breathe out. Again, hold it now. Before you start the inhalation again. Simple, okay? Practice these kind of different ones, and then you can start with a simple inhalation, holding, and exhalation. That will be important. And also, really try to get all your thoughts out in a journal. If you write down your thoughts and worries, they help you release the mental loops, and you idea is to get you out of that cyclical thoughts, right? And that provides some perspective when you do that. Say you can do trying morning pages or evening reflection for mental clarity. That's a wonderful thing. 5 minutes, reflect on what is going on. What am I doing? What is going on in my mind? What are the things I'm worried about, anxious about? That kind of reflection will be very. So these are evidence-based practices that are accessible to you. Can do mindfulness meditation. You can do breathing techniques. You can do journaling practice. All these things you can do, right? And that is consciously done. That's why our proactive wellness is about conscious living. Don't go and expose yourself to all sorts of reactivity, all sorts of stress, all sorts of unpleasantness, lack of contentment, and all that through the day, and accumulate them unconsciously. And they say, "Oh, I'm breaking down, I'm burning out, I'm stressing out." Be intelligent, be conscious about these practices. Don't have to allow your nervous system go through all that. Be in charge of your nervous system, and deep breath, activate the parasympathetic nervous system, and then go and work. Non-reactive, but responding to your activities, to your tasks, to your responsibilities. Okay? So reflecting in the morning, in the evening is a very important thing. I think many people don't do that. Okay. So what it is many people are so caught up in the electrical activity of the brain and so quick, and they don't even notice that they are reacting like that. Okay. So if you have a calm mind, okay, that calm matters because our world is hyper connected now and very fast. So many things coming at us. It's cultivating this inner calm is not about just having a nicety, but it is essential for optimal health and happiness. A calm mind becomes your refuge in life's inevitable storms and your foundation for making wise decisions. This is why I'm doing this retreat on September 12th and 13th and 14th. You can participate if you want. This is about how to cultivate resilience in the presence of inner turmoil, emotional, physical, financial. So many turmoils happen in life, right? How can you not to ignore the turmoil, not to say, "Oh, there's nothing, I don't care about it." No, it's not that. Being steady and calm in the middle of the storm, and then doing what you can do without undergoing the emotional turmoil and the associated hormones, associated stress. You can do that. I do that all the time. If I can do it, anybody can do it too. So you can do that. The only thing is you need to be aware and practicing these things on a continuous basis. Don't go to each room and agree with them and end up in the mind. That's what I see. I'll also say, "Oh, we're all collectively doing together." No, you cannot do it collectively. You got to do it for yourself, by yourself, for yourself. You have to validate these things by going inward and validating them within yourself, with questioning, with doubting, with finding all information. That is the way that ancients did. They didn't have these libraries, they didn't have this circulation of the books and all that. What they had was oral instruction, and then they were, if they taught you something and you didn't listen and you come back and say, sir, can you tell me again? No, you should have listened when you were told. You should have observed it. You should have concentration in there. And then afterwards, you go on to figure it out yourself. That is manana. And also that is a independent, not independent in sense of that, but by yourself only, do that manana, right? What I see is everybody say, oh, we are all going to share this information. Together we're going to grow. Together. Nonsense. It doesn't happen. You can dive into that. But inner transformation doesn't happen unless you take the info, you take the insight, you apply it in yourself, in your own investigation. So you got to engage in a self-inquiry of yourself by yourself, however tough it may be. But the moment that eureka moment happens, then that is your property. Moment to moment awareness, I may say, what is it to you? Just a concept. But if you make it your lived experience by going inward and finding out, let me see what are the thoughts going. Let me not make a judgment. Let me not say this should be good. Just observe. That observation reveals so much to you, what kind of experiences elicited those thoughts and why they are not relevant now. Because once you have a past event, you lived a past event, and then you recollected it, but don't go and live that event emotionally. Understand the lesson from that experience, the insight that you have into the knowledge piece of that. And that insight becomes your wisdom. You don't want to live it, but you know it. Water is hot. When I touch it, it kind of hurts me. Do you recall that all the time, or do you know it? You know it. The next time you don't go and touch it. Like that, you got to understand where my thoughts are coming, where my emotions are going, or why this is all no control. And then out of that, you will be rewarded with a calmness of mind. So don't tell me that I'm reading that, I'm listening to that, and that's all unnecessary waste of time. How much time you're sitting down by yourself, closing eyes, reflecting on those things, and if they come, let's understand why that is coming all the time. If you indulge in the cyclical thinking where you're allowing this thought go again and again and again, that is when you go into trouble. You create what are called samskaras. That is kind of identified thought paving a neurological path for itself, and they are independent of your voluntary control, and they come to you whenever. So if you allow unconscious thinking going on without bringing substance to it, then you are going to pay for it. A lot of old people cannot stop the thought going on because that is what is going on continuously. Okay, maybe you are already doing, a lot of people are already doing 10, 12 years, and they can get out of their head. See, for me, it's a very simple thing. Am I in the present, or am I in the mind? Am I in the life that is present? That is present for me. Or am I in my head, in the past and the future? Okay, so why calm matters is, in this hyper-connected world, cultivating inner calm isn't just about niceties, but it is essential for optimal health and happiness. Because a calm mind becomes your refuge. I can switch off everything at any time and very happy in life. And the other thing is, you develop a dispassion about the small things. That comes over time, that comes over understanding the life and all that. But you definitely, when you have calm mind, you have the mental clarity, because competing things are not coming and fighting with each other. And you have this emotional resilience that's important, not reacting to everything, is fear or anxiety, whatever, right? And then if you can really have that emotional resilience, you have natural joy. This is what I always kind of say, because the inward turning, identifying our inner Satchitananda and staying there is immensely joyful. People don't realize that, that's why they go out for entertainment. So that's why I put an article, entertainment versus enlightenment. In enlightenment, you see the light within you and hold on to the light. And that light is itself joy and bliss and happiness, peace all together. Okay? So once you have the natural joy, the mental chatter whites, and your natural state of contentment and joy, they emerge. Independent of external circumstances, stationed in that joy, you have more clarity, emotional resilience, so you can solve any problem much easier. I did that in my family. There were deaths, there were serious illnesses, there were so many things happened, right? But they looked to me at the time to be the calm, quiet, resilient self, right? And I just react because I don't have those up and down emotional reactions. I may feel compassionate. I may feel that they should not have this suffering, but that attention I pay, that attention I give it to them, I don't neglect. I don't dismiss them, but their emotional state, my patients also feel that attention. Immediately they have healing started. Some people have so much uh, complete silence of the mind, they feel so good. They told me so many times, half an hour with me, and then they say, when I came here, I was all distraught, my mind is all over, I was worried, but now I'm calm. I'm taking this. This is a gift. I don't do anything except being myself calm inside. I may expose these things, the years of exposition of this and understanding it, trying to help them better. You see, if somebody doesn't understand me, I think I didn't do the proper job of explaining, going into the details. But if you are serious about understanding, I will stay with them as long as they want. Okay? So that helps a lot. So, but if you have unchecked stress and this turbulence in the mind, that is the one which is leading to burnout, anxiety, depression, and chronic diseases also. That all those things could be prevented, and regular calm mind practices will do that. That's why it's so important. So anybody has any questions, you can come out. But when this comes to having a good sleep and calm mind, there's a workbook prompt I put in there. How can I improve my evening ritual tonight? Okay. Your evening ritual begins long before you get into bed. See, it is the intentional transition from the busy energy of day into the peaceful surrender of night. People are not doing it. They're going on having the busy energy through the night also. Don't do that. See, this ritual that you do before bed actually signals to the nervous system that it is safe to let go. Let go. Don't cling. Remember the principle I told you? Let go. Don't cling and rest deeply. It starts with 2 hours before bed. Dim the lights, finish eating, and begin shifting into slower activities. You are beginning shifting into slower activities. Then create a tech-free time. Power down devices and engage in calming activities like reading or gentle stretching. And then prepare your space. Make your bedroom cool, dark, and welcoming for deep rest. And then practice gratitude. reflect on the good that is here, and then really recollect all that before you sitting to sleep. Okay. So that is a workbook prompt I put in there for the people who have the workbook and they can do. Okay. Now I'm going to go into the uh, uh, ancient sleep wisdom a little bit, Ayurvedic sleep principles. Okay. See, they always talked about rising with the sun and going to bed with the sun. Okay. So the early bed and early to rise. This kind of circadian alignment, this follows the sun's rhythm. Okay. It actually maximizes the deep sleep phases of the sleep cycle and natural energy cycles, both sleep cycle and natural energy cycles. That kind of aligns the circadian rhythm. Normally, most people don't work in the night, they work the daytime and then they rest. So you can do opposite other way. And then the yoga nidra practice I talked about, the yogic sleep technique guiding you into conscious relaxation, providing rest equivalent to hours of deep sleep. Very much real for me. You know, I don't know if people are practicing this or not, or they want to practice, they can always consult me on that. And also, we want to integrate the dead man's pose, the Shavasana. This is the final yoga pose. I recommend this for all the serious yogic practitioners. Every day they do, immediately at the end of the session, do this. Okay, this is a yoga pose. It complete surrender and conscious rest. Okay, these skills improve your ability to fall asleep naturally. I found that initially it took you maybe 10, 15 minutes, then now it takes like that. Okay, for everything you have to do consistently, not occasionally when you remember. Incorporate this into your daily routine. Okay. Uh, so it is the strategic napping is also important. Not more than 20 minutes. Brief 10-20 minute power naps, they can refresh you without interfering with the nighttime sleep. But if you sleep longer, then you have a problem. A lot of elderly patients have this problem. They sleep so much during the day, they cannot fall asleep at night, and that becomes a vicious circle. So, what the ancient wisdom does is it teaches to align our sleep with the natural sun cycles. This means winding down before sun goes out and then rising with or before sunrise to harmonize our hormone cycles and all that. Circadian rhythms, 12-hour cycle, right? Actually, some of the companies, they use this to allocate night shifts and daytime shifts. They always want to give people who are really, you know, sleeping during the day, something like an evening. So we call this sleep hygiene. How do you develop the sleep hygiene? There's an evening ritual for that. First of all, you have to have consistent schedule. Okay, like we talked about, go to bed and wake up at the same time daily, even on the weekends. Okay, to regulate your natural circadian rhythm. Okay, don't dictate it with alcohol consumption, with drugs, and with smoking, caffeine, all these natural ills for the circadian rhythm. And then create an optimal environment. Okay, 65 to 68 is the temperature, slightly cool but not too cool, and then completely dark. That is one thing you don't want to light because the melatonin is disturbed by that. Okay, and as quiet as possible for the deepest rest. Then screen your boundaries. Power down devices 1 hour before bed. Blue light interferes with melatonin production. We all know that, and disrupts sleep quality. And finally, wind down ritual. Create a peaceful transition like a reading or music or something, meditation, to signal your body it is time to rest. Don't get into more excited movies and all that. So if you transform your bed into a sleep sanctuary, remove work materials, charge phones outside the bedroom, and invest in blackout curtains or comfortable eye mask. These small changes, okay, these small changes are very important. They create a profound improvement in your sleep quality. Okay, take care of the ambience, take care of the rituals, and then sleep very well. Okay. Any questions? Anything? I would be encouraged if you guys come and ask me questions or tell me what you do. And is there anything that other people can learn? I think I gave a lot of tips about quality sleep. I'm sure it is too overwhelming sometimes, especially when you are not used to that. But this also calm mind practices too. So it really helps you to get this. I'm not prescribing any sleeping pills. I'm not prescribing any coffee, teas, or cold drinks or energy drinks. I'm prescribing only natural things that you can do by yourself. Okay. What you need is you want to have clarity, you have to understand the routines, and you have to do them consistently. And if you do that, you'll be fine. So I'm coming to the final reflection and your wellness commitment. What is one daily moment I will pause and breathe? Ask yourself, what is that one daily moment I can pause and breathe? See, as we conclude this day too, recognize that you now have practical tools for nourishing your body, different diets and all that, moving with joy, so many alternative functional fitness. We talked about a lot of things, and resting deeply and cultivating inner calm by sleeping well. Okay, these are not separate practices really. They all work together to create vibrant wellness. Eat to fuel your body and the soul. Choose foods that provide both physical nourishment and eating experiences that bring joy and satisfaction to you. Don't have a punishment of fasting and all that. And move joyfully every day. Find movement that energizes rather than depletes. Okay? Building strength and vitality while honoring your body's wisdom. Listen to the body and do what it can do. Okay? Rest deeply and consistently. Prioritize your quality sleep and conscious rest as non negotiable. Investments in your physical and mental health. That is what you want to do. And calm the mind, find inner freedom. Regular calming mind practices, they liberate you from stress, reactivity, and connect you to your natural state of self inward. Your wellness journey is uniquely yours. Start where you are, what resonates, and trust that small, consistent actions. Prepare that workbook I said, write the radar and then use the radar for 30 days. Consistent actions, they create profound transformations over time. Don't expect anything overnight. Don't expect anything with a group. Yours, your effort is yours. Okay, your struggle is yours. Your journey is yours. Uniquely dependent on you. Okay, you can learn things, but don't say, I'm going to just listen and everything will happen. No. Whatever wisdom you gather from anywhere, question it reflect on it, learn from it, and then implement it. Okay? Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana. Listen first, Shravanam, Mananam, reflect on it, and Nididhyasana, make it happen in your life. Allow that to happen in your life. Okay? So anybody has any questions, anything that you want to come and talk to me, tell me about what you learned, what you did not learn, what you are looking for, which I did not address. You can talk to me about that. I'll be happy to answer you. I don't even know whether this is making any difference for you guys, or is it worth my effort to go through this kind of hours and hours of talk. I would rather be myself than be happy. But the physician in me sees the suffering around me, and I want to come and contribute to life. That's what I do. Yeah. Hi, Peter.
Stay, my friend. I made it up on the first try. I didn't. I didn't close the app out this time. Last time I had it out. Yeah, I mean, great series. You know, as you're talking about things like for instance, tonight I'll give a talk on Noon Vibe. Afterward, I go into my nightly ritual, which is turning my phone off, of course, and sitting quietly. And I start my day like that as well.
Yeah.
I learned that from you last August.
Yeah.
And I'm not perfect at it, but it's a practice. It's a habit. So if I miss a day, then I miss a day. But generally speaking, I'm on point with that.
Yeah. Knowing you, Peter, I have a question for you. When you wind down, do you do all that things I told you to wind down?
What I do is this. What I do is when I wind down, the first thing I do is I turn my phone off. That's the first thing I do.
That's good.
Then I sit. I don't go through the 10 breaths specifically like I do in the morning to kind of start, but I feel that invigorates my day. Instead, I just sit quietly and go into what people would call a meditative state. It's just a state of present moment awareness, and I just breathe. And then I practice some gratitude, and then I open my eyes back up. I turn my phone on to just for nightly notifications.
Yeah.
But when I do that, before I do that, interestingly enough, I put my phone down and I thank it for serving me. And I let it know that I'm the master and it's the servant. I thank it for being a way of me to stay in touch with my family and friends anywhere they may be in the world. I thank it for being a means of commerce. Like I make my living off of these devices, right? But really at night, it's just a matter of just kind of winding down. I let the day go, especially if I'm
listen to me a couple of suggestions here. Okay, when you want to do is come from surroundings to inward, right? So is my surroundings are amicable for my sleep quality, okay?
Oh yeah.
Dark, the ambience I'm talking about, okay? And then focus on the body first, okay? That is where the Shavasana is very important. You can do it sitting down too, you know. Come to the morning report. And morning report, I will demonstrate tomorrow when we do the Shavasana lying down after our session. But you can do the modified session in chair also, right? Then each muscle group, as you tense it, as you take a deep breath in, and as you let it go, the breath, you relax. Coordinate that, okay? And do that from each muscle group.
Yeah.
First preparation is that.
I've done that with you before.
But
it's not part of my
no. Do this before you go to the mind. Do the body first. Do the body relaxation completely, and then that leads to looking inward with your eye witness. What is going on with my thoughts? And then do that one thought at a time, and then put it away if they are not good, if they are not important. If they are important, take them to journal or document for your later use, and then put it away.
Put it away.
Let go.
Yeah.
You remember, letting go is a yogic principle that I follow. Whatever happens, you praise me, you insult me, whatever, I let it go.
Yeah.
Okay, and then only slip into sleep. There are so many other things you can do. I kind of described in in this talk, but that's too much for people. But once you understand the knack of it, I do all this within 5 minutes, Peter, every day. Not even 5 minutes, maybe 2 to 3 minutes.
Yes. Yeah.
It's kind of tuning into that and really understanding this is the time to go to deeper sleep. This is the time for body to relax. This is the time when the mind is cleared completely. And this is the time I don't want to activate my second arrows.
Yeah.
And then when you sleep, progressively every day it becomes deeper and deeper and deeper. So what people
Right.
are doing is they are getting more and busy, more and busy, more busy with the thought. And that's why they cannot come out of it, you know. And the more they think, the more they kind of converse with people, the more they think they are getting smarter. Actually, you don't get smarter, but if you take somebody's talk and you took some couple of insights from it, and then you did your own reflective work on those insights, then they become your property. Then you have to allow them to come into your life. It's
That's
not
a
just
consequence.
it's not just about understanding. It's about bringing that understanding into application.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then what I have to remember is what I understood. That is very minimal compared to data points.
Yeah. Data points. That's a very good point. Wow.
It's such an important
very good.
point in this day of information overload. You guys are, I can see that every day. You are all, anybody I take it, they're dumping more and more and more. What are you going to do with this? Even if I say something, okay, this is like a movement. This is like making people to make a commitment to their proactive wellness and the tools that they can use. They can improvise on them. But the essential thing is you live a conscious living.
Mhm.
Not just living outside, eating and sleeping and all, in your mind.
Yeah.
Be conscious self, not the thinking faculty. Thinking faculty is only supposed to get you information and insight and wisdom from it. Not
Yeah.
to go on chatter, then that depletes your energy. That's why most people don't have even energy to listen to me.
Mm. That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point.
And then,
One of the things I've heard you talking about is television, right? I definitely don't do that at night. But every once in a while, Dr. Rao, I am guilty of, when I turn my phone back on just for nighttime notifications, I'll scroll. And then next thing I know, it's 20 minutes later and I'm still scrolling.
No,
So I
it's
really
not
have
that
to-
time. It is that network you are going into and you get trapped in that.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
you should not do that. It's not the
Yeah.
time. It's more like a quality of that thing, And first of all, what is quality information for you? What is not? If you don't have a purpose, you don't have an organized mind, then you are dumping everything like a dustbin.
Mm.
That's where my purpose is very clear. Realize who I am. I kind of go in there and then I find wonderful, peaceful, joyful self.
Mm.
I don't have to be given any information, anything for that. It is there already. Once established in that, then I see people with restless minds, people with lack of sleep, people with a lot of physical illnesses, people with a lot of dukkha, we call it suffering. Right?
Yeah.
Then I want to reach out to them. But I'm also a modern physician. I'm also a yogi. I'm also a student of ancient. So I can bring what I understood, not the data. What I understood, first of all, I have to implement. Otherwise, I have no moral right to tell anybody. So the onus of burden is on me to implement that in my life.
Yeah.
And you can see that 70, no medications, no problems, getting more and more responsibilities, but then doing them out of love and joy and out of the need. The world needs it. It is there, but they're not using it.
What do you think that is?
That is because of this trap into the mind.
Yeah.
Use the mind, don't get trapped in it.
It takes practice.
It's not practice, it's a question of understanding what you are doing. It doesn't come with practice, it comes with insight. I'm not really doing it, I'm just talking about it. That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Am I calm? Am I enjoying this joy that he is talking about? Am I having this stillness of mind? No, you want to give explanation for that. No, don't do anything. Just keep quiet. Keep quiet and then you will be there.
See, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've done it. I don't always do it. And when I think I'm doing it, I'm not, because I'm still doing the processing of the information.
No, come back up. I have to tell you something important. It's good for you. So, you see, remember this very carefully, Peter.
I have to laugh at myself.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it just gets away on me.
Now, remember this. Remember this. The word is not the thing. What you are doing, what you are saying are two different things, because the word is not the thing. You think your word, you understood, that is it. Do you have quietness in the mind, calmness in the mind? Is it real or not? You know about it. I can't point it out. I may say you are blotting out something or other, but then your experience of inner calmness, you should feel it.
Yeah.
If it's not there, don't bluff yourself. Then where am I? I'm in this perpetual chatter.
Yeah.
That is my undoing. So be still and know you are God.
Yes.
But that is a word, but actually they don't feel that. You know why that is?
Please tell me.
It is because you are going outward with intellect. You are looking to learn from the intellectual people, but not looking for your own inner experience. You had that one time, don't recall it. That is come and gone. You can identify that, but you are not trying to be there.
Yeah.
That's the only problem you have, that's all.
Yeah.
So what it is be quiet and then know who you are.
Yeah.
See, the yoga, entire yoga thing, they say about only one thing. Chitta vritti nirodha. All the modulations of mind to be stilled. Then tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. Then your real inner self that is joyful, that is peaceful, that is joy and happy, that shines by itself. All you have to do is keep your mind from chatter free, still.
Empty.
But if you are going to talk, agreeing with this one, that one, this one, you are always going out, not into your inner self. That's what I'm saying.
No, I understand completely. Completely, 100% I understand.
Yeah. Don't recollect that you have seen it someday. No. What are you doing now, building up this chatter? You don't have to validate to anybody.
Right.
If you experience that, like me, I'm experiencing that. I don't care whoever, whatever thinks. My experience is mine. I'll stay in that. I'm staying in that. That's so blissful. And everybody can do it. That is where the scientific person, the yoga teacher, everything comes out. Not to teach them, but lead them to the way they can teach themselves. Like I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you do this. I'm saying maybe this is what is happening, Peter. Look at it.
Yeah.
See, when you go out to attend to somebody's talk and say, oh, this woman does some other thing, what you are doing is you are identifying with the thought patterns that are going outward.
Right.
Stop it and then turn yourself inward and question yourself. That is the self-inquiry, which is much greater than meditative awareness and all that.
Right.
Then you are in that meditativeness all the time and use the thought as a tool and stop the thought as a tool. What you are not doing is stopping the thought after you used. You are going through that outward and again, outward, again, more and more stuff. You may be putting away the devices for a while, but your activity through the day is outward.
Yeah.
Turn it inward, inner awareness, inner feeling of what is going. That is the real difference that made for me with the Ramana Maharshi was. He said very simply, you are all used to going outward with the intellect and the senses. You cannot do inward identification or who you are with that. You used to use intuition.
Namaste.
Yeah. So this is not like a lecture you can take it from. This is like a pointing out the need to be well in this present atmosphere, healthcare system, and also how we are propagandized about bad food, sedentary activity, chattering mind, and also lack of sleep. Correct them. Live long, live well, and live long in wellness. And also live long, well, and in joy, not in misery. That is very possible for us as human beings who have this intelligence within us. Okay? Whoever is asserting like, oh, I am such a big deal, I learned so many things and all that, that's all for them. But the question everybody has to ask themselves is, am I well, like Dr. Rao is describing? Am I having energy and no illness in my body? Do I have a heart that is open, that is reaching out to other people? Do I have a mind that is calm and centered and able to solve the problems by whenever I want to use it and quiet afterwards? So if you can really question yourself and see whether you are well, are you doing these proactive measures that you can learn and do very well, and also identify where you are going wrong. So then you will know what is working, what's not working. Okay. All right. So if anybody wants to come up, I will stay here for a while. Otherwise, I'll be closing the room because I finished what I wanted to say, what I want to tell you. But if you have particular things that you want me to question about, or you want to tell me your own experience, I'll be happy to listen to it, or I will be happy to answer if I know the answers.